Planning Commission Vice Chair, I believe, Dennis Richards, as our guest. And the program he will be sharing with us has to do with a ballot measure, which he's involved with putting on the ballot as soon as they can get it done, which he will explain further. Dennis, are you ready?
I am. So I'm Dennis Richards. I used to be the Vice President of the Planning Commission. I was on the commission for nearly 6 years until I was retaliated against by the Department of Building Inspection in 2019 on an investment property that I owned. Fortunately, for the past 2 years and nearly $1 million later, I sued the city, and the federal judge ruled last Friday that we have enough evidence to back up my claim that we're going to go to trial. And the trial date's set for February 14th. So that's what I've been doing the last 2 years. In the thank you. In the meantime.
Okay, Dennis, let me just interrupt for a second. Everybody, if you're not already muted, please mute yourself. So we will have his presentation, and then when we open it up for questions and answers later on, then we can all unmute ourselves and speak.
Sure.
Okay, go ahead, sir.
Sure. And so, God, I lost my train of thought. So in the last 2 years, you probably have been reading in the newspapers, in the media, Mission Local especially, in the lawsuit that I brought against the city, the amount and depth of corruption at Department of Building Inspection, nepotism, corruption, and cronyism has come out unbelievably deep. And Supervisor Ronan is introducing a piece of legislation, a charter amendment next November 2022 to undo the effects of Prop G, which institutionalized the corruption at the Department of Building Inspection. Thank you very much to the Residential Builders Association and Randy Shaw. I fully want to come back at some point and talk about this new ballot initiative for the city and get CSFN support to undo all of the corruption that it created. But right now I want to talk about a ballot initiative that we've actually been working on now for 5 years at the state level to undo some of the nepotism, corruption, and cronyism that we see happening in Sacramento. I would love to, I know I've met some of you as a planning commissioner and I miss you dearly. I know Charles, I know George, I know Maurice, I know Mary Eliza, I know Richard Frisbee, Carolyn. There's some folks on here I haven't met yet, Jean, Al, Claire, Naali, and I know Eileen. Can you at least introduce yourselves to folks that I don't know?
Hello, Dennis. I'm Niall Vignol. I'm on audio only because my video is not working, okay. But I'm a former deputy city attorney and I'm president of the University Terrace Association.
Great, thank you. Pleased to meet you, Niall.
Pleased to meet you.
I'm Barbara Heffernan. I'm on the board of the Cow Hollow Association. And Dennis, I know you know Lori, and you and I met at a Cow Hollow Association meeting 2 years ago when it was down at the St. Mary's Church at the corner, and we were talking about SB 9 or what was
SB
whatever
50.
those bills were at that point. So we have a lot of people in common that we know.
Great, great.
I'm Jean Barish. I'm a member of the Board of Directors of Planning Association for the Richmond, and the interest of full disclosure, PAR is not a member of CSFN, so technically I'm here as a guest. And I've probably appeared before the Planning Commission several times while you were on there, but obviously.
Great. Pleased to meet you again, Jean. David?
I'm David Osgood, Rincon Point. I met you when the largest edifice on the Embarcadero was being considered at 75 Howard, which you voted for.
Okay. I remember, David, I remember meeting with you. Mary Harris?
Mary Harris, President of All My Neighbors in Action.
And that's in
And for Ocean View, Merced Heights, Ingleside.
Oh, am I? Okay.
Yeah.
Al?
Al's my husband. and
okay.
Okay.
And Chris, I think I met you before. And certainly Eileen. Okay. So I appreciate the ability to come and speak to you folks. This whole initiative started about 5 years ago with SB 827 by Senator Weiner. I don't know if any of you remember that, but it was a fight about development, basically giving the state control over development around what they called high opportunity zones, high transit zones, transit rich zones where buses come once every 15 or 30 minutes. And then we had SB 828, and then we had SB 50. Thank you, Senator Weiner. And then son of SB 50, thank you, Senator Weiner. That brings us to the last legislative session where we have SB 9 and 10, which finally got passed. And basically, over the course of the last 4 or 5 years, what Sacramento has done is said, you local folks, go sit down and shut up. We don't want to have you say any say about development in your neighborhood. You have your single family home. We're not going to allow development right next to you through lot splits via SB 9 to develop up to additional 5 units on the property that's behind you. Forget the open space, forget the mid-block, forget the trees, forget the parking requirements, forget all of that. We know better than you because we're Sacramento and we're funded by the real estate lobby, the construction lobby, and all the lobbies that benefit from rampant development. And so we had a strategy over the last 5 years around kill the bills. And I think, Carolyn Kennedy can understand this. We talked about this ad nauseum. On the left-hand side, we're going to kill the bills, kill the bills, kill the bills. And that became exhausting. Every year we were in Sacramento trying to kill a bill when it's like a weed. Later in the legislative session, some other assembly person or senator introduced another bill that was like, oh, there's a weed over here. There's a weed. We kept trying to kill the bills. We started an organization called A Better Way California, where we said, we're going to come up with really good ideas that are going to be so good that these developer-driven bills will fade by the wayside because everybody will embrace these much better bills, much more logical bills, probably less profitable for the developers, but that didn't work either. We did get some legislation that was passed, but it got drowned out by the developer-sponsored bill, especially SB 9 and SB 10. We talked about suing the state, and we had some municipalities, Huntington Beach, some other municipalities sue the state. We had some wins and some losses, and basically we're feeling now that the legal strategy around having the state dictate and mandate local zoning and planning rules is not a winner. Then we decided, well, maybe we should have a ballot initiative to undo some of the specific pieces of legislation like SB 50, SB 9, SB 10. Well, what we learned from that is we're going to be having a ballot initiative every year because they ain't going away. And the developer-driven lobby, thank you to Senator Weiner, Senator Atkins, Senator Skinner, they're not going to go away. And finally, the nuclear bomb that we decided that we really needed to do after 5 years was change the Constitution to say local land use and planning regulations are a municipal affair. It's an opt-in approach where we want to amend the Constitution, where we're not wiping out the laws that were passed. What we're saying is, just like they did with SB 10 for us, is you don't have to follow SB 10. You can opt in. What we're saying is, hey, you passed all these laws over the 64 pieces of legislation over the past 4 years. We as a municipality get to have our voices heard, where we can say, we'll take that one, we like it. We won't take that one, we don't like it. It's not going to meet our policy objectives. So that's what our ballot initiative is about, pure and simple, an opt-in approach to what we've got on the books right now for the state. Why we're concerned about what we've seen is, they're stripping us of our voice. Sitting on the Planning Commission, looking at some of the laws that were passed where we had to try to make decisions around state density bonus, Housing Accountability Act, SB 35, just to name a few, we had very little discretionary power, very little. So what SB 9 and SB 10 does is further, you may one day wake up and next door, a bulldozer comes and knocks the house down that's next to you, and they build a building almost to the property line, 40 feet high, and they build one in the backyard where there used to be open spaces and birds and butterflies and trees and fresh air, with another 3 units. And guess what? There's no public review. There's no discretion. There's no DR. There's none of that. If that's the world that you want to live in, great. don't support the ballot initiative. But if that's the word where you want to actually have a say in what happens in your neighborhood, we want you to join us. We want you to sign the petition. We want you to endorse it. We definitely need financial help as well, because right now we're an all volunteer organization and we've gotten this far, which is kind of a miracle. Couple of other things. This is a freeway revolt. This is a Prop 13 moment. We're being attacked where we live. They come into our neighborhood and you have no say. To me, that's being attacked. The people who are behind these initiatives, and there was a great article in the New York Times Magazine section on Sunday, 50% of the single family purchases of homes go to BlackRock, Wall Street. These aren't people coming in, buying a home to raise a family. They're coming in to destroy your neighborhood. And they're behind these pieces of legislation where you get no say. They're funding Senator Weiner. They're funding Senator Skinner. They're funding Buffy Wicks. They're funding Tony Atkins. Let's not kid ourselves, folks. Go look at the campaign contributions. Maybe some of you realize when I was a planning commissioner, I didn't hold any punches. And now that I'm not a planning commissioner, I'm certainly not holding any punches. I'm being very honest with you. We want a say back. That's what this does for us. If you want Sacramento to turn your neighborhood over to developers, then so be it. I can show you photos of what your neighborhood's going to look like based on where I used to live in Los Angeles, where this kind of legislation was passed and it obliterated neighborhoods, obliterated them. I think I've said enough. I welcome questions. I welcome volunteer. I welcome donations. We've got finally title and summary back from the Attorney General, which actually we consider very fair. We need 10,000 signatures a day statewide in order to get this thing on the ballot. And once it's on the ballot, our polling numbers show it will not lose. So let's not sit here and twiddle our thumbs and talk about, oh my God, we need to get on the ballot. Let's get it on the ballot. Once it's on the ballot, they can't bring our numbers down. This is resonating with everybody across all communities, all economic strata, all races, all geographies in this state. People want to have a say where they live about what happens next door.
Okay, very good. Before we go to questions, Dennis, did you want to talk a bit about the website that people should go to? So
reason why I didn't come to the last CSFN meeting was we weren't ready yet. We finally hired a campaign manager. We have, this stuff costs money, political consultants, we're doing polling. So it's called, ourcommunityvoices.com or ourneighborhoodvoices.com. Please go visit it. It has the initiative, it has the title and summary, it has the rationale behind what we're trying to do, it has how to get involved, everything. FAQs, if you have any questions about it. But I think I boiled it down pure and simple. The website is finally up and running and it's working and it's very informative. And again, this is a shoestring operation by people who are concerned, me, you, your neighbor, my neighbors, and we really want to create some change.
Mm-hmm. And Dennis, people can go there to find out how to endorse it and
endorse,
and how to donate.
Endorse, get signatures, which I am the captain for the city and county of San Francisco. And I hope to work with Mary Eliza because she stepped forward and said that she wanted to volunteer. And Mary, I have actually been ill the last couple of weeks and I'm back on my feet now. Now that we actually got our petitions, they showed up on Thursday. I know it's already Tuesday. We need to get them in the hands of people. We need to get signatures.
Very good. And we already have a question from Jean Barish in the chat. She wants to know what the deadline for collecting signatures is.
May 31.
August 31 next year?
May 31. So it's 6 months, 180 days from we got title and summary. And I believe title and summary came November 1st or 2nd. So that basically puts it at the end of May.
Right. So at this time, we can either use the chat function or we can go to people raising their hands to ask questions. Remember that we have the little blue hands that you can activate as well as raise your hand, and we will try to find out where your hand is on screen. But if your video is not up, then obviously we're not going to see your physical hands. So I would just remind people, this is for information. This is not a chance for you to express your opinion about this, that, and the other thing. We've already had Dennis express his opinion and summarizing the opinion of numerous people all across the state. So please ask your questions to be information gathering. Okay, and we will start with Mary Eliza.
Hi, Dennis.
Mary.
Could you kind of go through the process, because we've gone through so many different campaigns and signature gathering and all that. Are we back to, we have to have wet signatures, we have to mail them in, we have to hand them in to you, we have to, or are we doing anything online? Could you just kind of fill us in on where we're at in that particular methodology? Thank you.
Sure. So I'm responsible, and I've committed to get 70,000 signatures, 70000 in San Francisco. And I'm going to look to everybody I know for their help. They have to be wet signatures. We have a tutorial that we want everybody who actually goes out and gets signatures to view. It's a 3-minute tutorial about where to sign, how to sign, don't sign outside the boxes, don't make marks on the petition, because we don't have a lot of room for error. We're trying to get 1.3 million signatures because we need 985,000 signatures to qualify. Obviously, there's going to be, signatures that aren't valid, signatures that are signed outside the box, but we have attorneys and people who have done ballot initiatives who are our consultants that tell us, these are the things you need to look out for. It makes no sense for us to spend time going to get a signature from somebody that will be invalidated. So we've got a tutorial that if you want to take a sheet, I can deliver the sheets by hand to you. We're going to need to have you look at that tutorial and make sure that you have everybody sign it correctly. But we need 70,000 signatures in the city and county of San Francisco by May 31st.
Can you put in the chat where that tutorial, is it on the website? If we go to the website?
We just got it finished yesterday. So a lot of the stuff that I'm talking about is like really, really fresh. I know it's November 16th. It's been nearly 2 weeks since we've got title and summary, but there's a lot of work behind the scenes that we're trying to do to make sure that we aren't wasting our time. And the last thing I think any of us want to do is go get signatures that are going to be ruled invalid. So we did a tutorial for folks who want to actually step forward. Even if you take one of these gets 6 people, you and 5 of your friends. We'll take anything, okay? I have friends that have already taken 1 or 2 or 3. They're looked at the tutorial. They've already delivered them back to me, which is great. Everybody can contribute in the way that they are most comfortable and able to. This is our revolution.
Great, thank you, Dennis. We have a couple of people who have raised blue hands. Claire.
Thank you. I'm still not clear on who we is and where the bulk of your funding comes from. Are you only gathering signatures to qualify for the ballot, or are you looking at some other method of getting onto the ballot?
So first of all, we tried to get on the ballot via the Assembly and Senate. It was called ACA 7. They didn't even give us a hearing. We had Senator Glazier, we had Assemblyman Katucci, and we had another senator co-sponsor ACA 7, and the Assembly would not even let us have this be heard. So we've tried to do it, within the means that we thought, would be the easiest to get a fair hearing. We didn't even get a fair hearing. We, is us. We is me, we is Claire, we is Jean, we is Charles, we is Richard. Anybody who's concerned about what's going on in your neighborhood is we.
And
We only have one major donation so far. It's on the website. It was $50,000. So we don't have an angel investor that's come and swooped in and said, here's 5 million, here's 10 million. It's all small dollar donations. We're getting $20 and $50 and $100. So whatever you can give on the website, we will gladly and thankfully accept.
And this is a statewide ballot measure. This is
It
not
is.
local.
It's
Okay.
statewide.
Yeah,
So-
that wasn't clear. Thank you.
Right. We have 265 cities out of 480 cities supporting this initiative. Now, because I've got a case against the city right now, I can't go and fly into City Hall and say to the supervisors, we want you to pass a resolution in support of this. I'm going to rely on good people like you to do that. Los Angeles County, Los Angeles City passed a resolution against SB 9. We did not.
Yeah.
Shame on us.
Thank you, but I'm working on my own charter amendment for the June ballot, so
Right,
different
okay.
issue, but thank you.
Okay, we have some more blue hands. I would remind you, once your issue is addressed, your question is answered, please lower your hand. Okay, Barbara. Barbara, your hand is raised.
Great. I was listening to Dick Plaken on Liverpool, California meeting this past Saturday, and he really talked a lot about SB 9 and SB 10. And I guess one of the points he brought was if we take it back to the municipalities and, the cities and the towns and so on, that he talked about neoliberalism, that a lot of those people support upzoning. So he did not see that as an effective strategy. He was saying, not a strategy so much, but what he was talking about is we need to show them that this whole approach does not pencil out in terms of affordable housing. So my thoughts are, I am definitely going to get involved in this and volunteer, but it's how to position it. Are there any talking notes? I'll go on the website after, but to help in terms of me having conversations with my friends and neighbors.
Absolutely. So we will get you talking points for you and your neighbors. There are cities in the state like Culver City that want upzoning. If that's what they want, we don't want to tell them they can't have it. That's their choice. But at least they get a voice in it. Upzoning everybody else without having us have any say in it is what we're against.
Right.
And no, right now, there is no study that shows that, and I'll call it the tinkle down effect instead of trickle down effect of creating market rate housing and having it solve all the housing affordability issues, especially homelessness. Senator Wiener is I believe, a Fulbright scholar. He is smarter than that to say that for every market rate unit that we create, we're going to lift somebody out of homelessness. That's pure crap. No economic study has supported that. They're liars. And they're feeding you lies. And Dick Plaken is a really smart guy, and I think you should continue to listen to him.
Okay, thank you, Dennis. Jean.
Dennis, this is really pretty exciting. If we want to get petitions to start collecting signatures, how do we get them?
I am probably going to enlist Mary Eliza. Mary, are you there? I'm trying to get an individual for each one of the supervisor districts to step forward and say, look, I can be the distribution point for my supervisor district, because for me, one person to do it, it's going to be kind of tough, especially with a lawsuit going on. So if you live in district whatever, and you want to step forward and say, look, I can commit to an hour a week or 2 hours a week to send these things out and get them back, and I can come pick them up. I need those kind of volunteers. It's working. The Los Angeles County folks have the same kind of a setup. I believe they have 14 supervisor districts, and then they have sub-districts. So that kind of a model is working, and I hope to implement it here.
So,
who do we contact if we want to get involved with that?
Contact me, please. 415-350-8888. 9269. Send
Do
me
you
a
have
text.
Do you have the email?
Text is better. I'm getting kind of 400 or 500 emails a day, and I'm losing track. So if you're able to text me, that's great. If not, drichards, the number 20 at outlook.com.
Can
Thank
you
you.
repeat your phone number again?
Sure. It's in the chat. Carolyn Kennedy put it in 415
Yep, got it.
350 Carolyn 9269, not 29.
I got it wrong, sorry.
Yeah, you got it. Mary's got it right.
Oh, I got it right.
Right.
Good. Okay.
So this is kind of going to be my full-time job between now and May 31st, other than the lawsuit.
Right. Okay, Al, next question. Al Fontes. THD.
Telegraph Hill.
Speak up.
Yeah, we're going to want to get involved, so we're going to be reaching out to you.
Great.
We're already really concerned about this.
Great. So Al, if there's anything you can do to get my hero, Miss Supervisor Peskin, involved in this in terms of passing legislation to say the city and county of San Francisco is on record is supporting this, I'd really appreciate it. I'm not allowed to start contacting supervisors at this point.
Yeah, I'll do what I can. I imagine he's pretty
Great, thank you.
Okay, Mary Eliza, did you have something to say following up from when Dennis was going to?
Yes.
add something?
Yes, I was just going to add that if I can do email, so if somebody prefers to do email, I can text Dennis and you can contact me. And I put my email in there. So if email works better for you, email me directly.
Great. Mary, I expect to be talking to you every day between now and June 1st, okay? This is going to require a heavy lift. This isn't for the faint-hearted.
Well, we'll work on it. Hopefully Chris can help us a little bit. He's up north now, but he's spreading himself a little thin, but hopefully Chris can help us too. Bowman.
Yeah. Yeah, Chris Bowman has a question in the chat. Dennis, does your initiative apply to unincorporated areas of counties, or are county supervisors empowered to control zoning for these areas?
It does include unincorporated areas.
Oh,
So we've kind of thought of everything. We put the initial language out there. We had public comment for 30 days in October, and these things all came out of it. So we changed the initiative to say that it applies everywhere, and everywhere means unincorporated portions of counties as well.
Very good. Okay. I'm not seeing any more blue hands raised. Does anyone have any questions to ask Dennis before we finish with our program tonight?
Charles, I think Jean Barish had a question.
No, I raised my hand and I got it answered. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you for bringing that up, Maurice.
So one of the last things I want to say is, and Charles and I mentioned this to Charles before, your name is Coalition of San Francisco Neighborhoods.
4.
Say that again?
It's not of, it's 4.
Okay, I'm sorry.
For the Coalition for All Neighborhoods.
We're all,
whether
okay,
members or not.
got it. I appreciate the correction. So as I look at what's been happening in Sacramento, neighborhoods, this is an existential threat to neighborhoods. And I want to make sure that, you know, if there's any way possible that the organization itself can help financially, that they actually consider that and do it, because I don't believe there's any point in having money in the bank where your neighborhood's being obliterated piece by piece. So I just throw that out there to the executive committee and the membership that we would really appreciate some type of a donation or financial support.
Okay, very good. We will bring that up at a later meeting.
Great.
All right, thank you, Dennis. Thank you for being here tonight. Thank you for enlightening us about all this.
It's good to see some of my friends. It's been a long time, way too long.
Right. And I must tell you hello from Jill Seagraves, now Jill Head, and our lovely grandchildren.
Wow. Everybody,
I have two grandchildren, two children now, my grandchildren.
that's great. Jill worked for me when I worked for Salesforce, and she was one of the best employees I've ever had.
Mhm. She's still working away for them.
Great. And I look forward to updating this great group of folks occasionally, maybe monthly, whatever, to let you know how things are going. But
Okay.
we are starting to go full throttle statewide.
Mhm. Well, we'll keep you on the list of invitees then.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
You're very welcome, sir.
Okay. Cheers, everybody.